Hello and welcome back. My name is Rocco and I'm your angel therapist practitioner and your angel card reader and fairyologist, as well as especially a magician of many colors. So today, finally, I'm back online to give you your daily reading and meditation with me. And today is July 15th, 2017, and I'm going to give you what it is the viewpoint of Archangel Raphael, who is the healing angel of them all, and who is invertedly connected to the demon Azazel, who was and is the bringer of wisdom to humans throughout his voluntary fall from heaven at a certain point after the start of humankind evolution. And to foster that concept of evolution, he decided to rise up the energies of humans with whatever angelic frequency was left in him, or with whatever divine impulse that he could. And thus was born the race of the Nephilim. I'm using Archangel Raphael's Healing Oracle cards by Doreen Virtue, which I love. And let me show you today if we have any messages for the viewers that Archangel Raphael might want to share with us in a way or another. So I'm going to draw 3 cards for each day for now on, and short comments upon them, and then we're going to do a short meditation to find your inner light with the angels. So first card of today is called Inner Authority. Inner authority is something that connects you to who you really are, a person of authority, but such authority isn't an authority that comes from an outside source, is an authority which comes from within you. And in within you, this authority is the idea of wisdom and perfection that was created in you by some types of spirits that were in you energetically, and they were causing harm, they were causing war in between you, and you just have to exercise in quotes that negative intention that's not yours, and in truth is not anyone's pure of heart intention. So you purify and you reconnect with the light of the bright angel. In this case, it could be Archangel Raphael, or maybe not. But say emerald was also a stone that was used by many deities in pagan times, including it was one of the stones that was on Lucifer's crown when he was a light angel. So now that things have changed throughout the world, it's time for you today to stand up and think of who you are and who you want to be, and then move on from the point that you are into the point that you want to perfect yourself towards. That's the only way. And some of the viewers could relate to the concept of alchemy that cannot be interiorized unless dominated in the matter material world. That has to be the priority of, like many know, of every alchemical work that has to start outside from an inner intention to then change, in that case, the coordinates of your spirit. And working alchemy directly on your etheric self is not possible in this pre-apocalyptic times. And so supporting that opinion is definitely a tragic idea, to just think it like New Age thinkers think it, because New Age thinkers think it that you cannot become something unless you take that something out of that something. So it's like devoiding an object of its content to then give you that sort of empty reflection of what you are, through seducing you into discovering the true essence originally of the theory presented. But this cannot be unless every philosophy has distinct characters in it, which there's not in New Age, that bring forth the message of someone that perhaps a spirit guide or someone that lovingly carries on the message of the spirit, to be intended even in shamanic terms, the spirit that dwells in you, and the spirit that is nature, and the spirit that is your soul, and the spirit that you represent as your true will or actual authority. So whichever choices you make, be sure that the universe only pays back what your true path is, and for everything else you can turn around to your own privilege, but always starting from the thought that it was a moment of defeat that you walked towards and on. So second card, it's called, again, leave a stressful situation behind. So as some say, you can't make this stuff up. You see an angel on top of a unicorn, and it's angel has got a green cloth around him, and supposedly is again Archangel Raphael, although not sure why. Some features of this angel remind me of the demon called Belial, who was the second angel created by God. The card says that Archangel Raphael gives the believer in him the courage and willingness to take good care of the self, including surrounding it with healthy relationships and positive situations. So again, continuing on this alchemical day, you want to leave behind those things that do not represent your real authority, and you want to apply yourself to leave behind those friends that aren't part of your life purpose, or aren't part of your of that piece of it. And so they aren't really resounding to your own music, which is something that they choose not to be. And not everyone is a wise man, so and not all men are wise because of their gender. So leave everything stressful behind, and especially everyone that's stressful, leave them behind you. If needs be, curse them or use magic to get them away from you, especially when it's when the moon is waning, or if needs be, if you want to make the work harsher, you perhaps want to curse them on almost moments before the new moon, so that they really these energies that are negative are dissolved, and perhaps slamming a door after another upon their face, they realized that their face was just a mask, and perhaps start utilizing the right mask, or at least getting a new face and moving on from there. So there's been things stressing you in the past, recent past, and now it's time to leave them behind you and start anew. So as a result, we get the third card that says simply increased energy. So once you center yourself and ground yourself in who you are, you automatically get the authority to be yourself that is divine. And you do not need to necessarily follow everything that's thrown at you, but you can select, including when you follow a guide, spirit, or master, maybe, that you want to follow. Don't necessarily drink the whole potion, but take in the things that you think that you need, if you can differentiate. If not, you're just gonna have to trust. And how can you trust? You connect yourself with, not with your grandmother, not with your deceased mother, not with necessarily Jehovah, but even with angels of light or darkness, especially honest would be the ones of light, of which Lucifer was part as the light bringer, meaning the one who sheds light on a certain topic. And even if it's the light of God, part of that light is still in him, with again, authority and leaving a stressful situation behind, and as a result having an increased energy in whichever purpose you select, or at least an energy that's more appropriate to what you thought or what you think right now your current desire is, and you are totally legitimate in caring forth your so-called sins or perversions or virtues, as long as you're honest with yourself. So I think that pretty much covers it. Every time you have a shower, you automatically release dirt from your skin, and you augment your positivity by for some people. Jesus did not shower daily, but still he was God. But I don't think Mary did either, but she's considered one of the purest, and not that she received a particular education through university degrees or stuff like that. It's more, including Buddha and other saints or ascended masters that now guide us if you wish them to. So it's gonna be a day for discovering and unveiling your true self, and finally shining as the true angel that you are, and that somehow is in you, and not only as the outer reflection of you through your guardian angel, but as the angel that symbolically you are. That's a pretty Luciferian concept, but not. And it's part of my philosophy, and you can take it as a right-hand magic practitioner especially as well, because once you realized that you can use any symbol or archetype to move on, then you automatically are that, and that gives you insight and ideas that are necessary for you to be who you want to be, which is your right. And some make it and some don't, but it's not necessarily that you won't make it again, because people reincarnate, but in that present flesh that you have, try to instill some freshness and some fresh air, some the new life that permeates you now, and the new passion and lust for life, as Iggy Pop sang, and rather than just like in that movie where the score was in Trainspotting, rather than choose your TV and choose the wife that was chosen for you and choose the job that was chosen for you by someone whose job was chosen for him, and we don't know where that brings back onto possibly the monkeys. And after you realize that your whole life was decided by a cheetah, or was decided by some gorilla, then you eventually compliment the gorilla for being vegetarian, but you still move on to the ideas that you decided to incarnate in your present incarnation, that the devil or even misconceptions of the Holy Trinity might lead you to the crooked and perverted path of the serpent or Satan, that if you don't know how to walk, just like if you don't know how to walk the path of God, it might lead you outwards of your grace. But again, any tool, although God is almighty, but any tool, and true always, but although any tool is good to advance yourself in your life, you only want to select the good tools at the right time. And all tools are permissible, and at some point everything will be different with not the New World Order, but the New World in terms of the new ascended world, where Eden is once again a reality, where sin doesn't exist, where unfortunately to some, where Satan is reascending, and where everyone will be eventually, after paying their dues, like Anastasia foretold, is eventually readmitted into that eternal grace that heaven once was, and now is lacking some important figures. So I want to meditate with you today, so with particular angels. Before that, I want to show you some peculiarities that will help you through your health path. So health is important for you to consider, because although you received it perfect and whole from God, whichever God you believe in, it's essentially a very subtle matter that you manage, that you touch almost. So it's better to just live naturally and do what feels right and whatever it is. And it's better to altogether avoid these rules that they give you in terms of behavior, unless you can't understand the right things to do differently, or unless you have an incomplete understanding of reality, then you do need to be on some kind of track. But again, it's still a track. It's not a forest. It's not a river. It's not a waterfall. It's not nature. So we learn to be ourselves and to follow our even animal instinct and our ideas and our gut. And wherever life takes you, you'll learn through experience what is best for you. But it's also good to have knowledge of all the different states of spirits, like many authors said. So celestial, natural, and if you will, infernal, to reach that sublime point called nirvana. That is something that people get reawakened to, and it's something that is the end of what Nietzsche called the eternal revolution type of, in quotes, I'm not sure if you use that terminology, but the eternal return concept of history being circular. So because you make it obsessive with your need to be always guided, included by me, where you don't need me and you don't need anyone else, including God, because not all demons have a relationship with the with the splendid creature that created them anymore. And still, although short contacts might be possible in their mind, especially in form of reminiscence, they manage to get along with perfect beauty and health since centuries, at your own expense sometimes. But after all, stupidity isn't rewarded in any of the realms that I quoted, especially not in heaven. So, and that's again a concept I'm bringing forth through what I remember reading of the Satanic Bible, that it's called the first satanic sin, if you will, to be stupid, because Lucifer has a strong mental power, and Christ would say now that it's not through the devil that you gain real perfection, but the devil can help you, just like money that will make you happy, but you can't go without it. The devil, at the same time, gives you what he can in terms of alchemy and in terms of, therefore, spiritual evolution, and this makes him somehow, by someone's decision or by chance, the one of the most interesting and intricate teachers in terms of spiritual alchemy, which is the only way that we have to enter the new heavens with that sort of satisfaction and perfection that is that is necessary. And through that passage of alchemy, and that's definitely better than chemistry, because we're not mopping off your floor, or I don't know, brushing our hair, but we're even doing more than that to become beautiful and to become seductive, to become lustful, to become asexual, to become wise, or to become whatever the fuck it is that you want to become, as long as you are and you want to become. So you have to ascend constantly into different and new levels of your being, as they say. And it's either through asking angels, or it's either through eating broccoli and potatoes, or it's through just being. And my philosophy is that you reach that point of being through being. And any other tool can help you, but it's not the tool. The tool is you. So your own divine self, as Jesus said, you are like gods, so be it. And in the sense that you, through that paganism, or through that Christianity, through that Wiccan Satanism, or even through your mother's counsel, you can eventually become that someone that you are slowly and little by little tasting and enjoying, until it's fully revealed. So it's making that choice between covering yourself up with pity, just like Eve did, or showing yourself for who you are with the same humility and respect that both Eve and Lilith share in terms of not being complete. And so Adam was the first man, and now we should replicate in terms of ideas and sense of humor the intention that was Jehovah's, that was to have Adam and Lilith as the first parents that we'd have, and that didn't work out quite well. And I'm sure it wasn't the devil's fault, but because he wasn't well informed of what was going on, for being a blind demon from the light of God. And so I'm not sure he was seeing what he was doing, but whatever he did worked. And now I think it's a good idea to invert the situation and start following the humane psychology of Lilith, human psychology of Lilith, and the human psychology of Adam, wherever these beings might be right now. certainly where God decided, meaning separated. And so if God had the power to separate Lilith from Adam eternally, especially for their spiritual mistakes, then definitely is a good idea to revolt yourself and protest. After all, the Protestant faith was born out of heresy, so now it's widely accepted. So don't be afraid of being creative, because sometimes whenever God seems to be not in, he's not necessarily happy. So we need to learn how to interpret these signs. And Lilith was definitely a sweet woman, and Adam, in terms that you can imagine for yourself, and Adam was definitely an ironic man, which would explain why Lilith was attracted to the devil at some point of her life, maybe. So when we put all these things together and we understand the concept of the snake and how that Kundalini can reawaken yourself to that perfect state of bliss that was naturally inside of you, and at least turn yourself into a semi-god, if God is too much for you. So I want to meditate with the angel of light that I'm calling now, to discover your true will for today, so that you have a clear light and understanding of how to eventually increase your energy, be more powerful, have more authority, and especially cleanse yourself from those worms, those parasites, those things that try to walk on you but you don't know what they are, and they try to eat you up, or you think that you're scared. But just like the blueprints, you can just kiss them away and they're gone goodbye. So let's call in spirit, and it's definitely an angel, and it's definitely what you think it is. Once we connect to this frequency that is spiritual, we imagine that we are surrounded by tall modern buildings of some modern city. You can picture New York, and that's something that everyone knows. And while we walk through it, there's beings of light and beings of darkness all around us, and we can select which path we want to take. And once we take the path that we chose with our intelligence and free will, then we will not necessarily choose wrong, but we will discover. Today, though, is the day where when you want to choose right, and when perhaps you want to help those souls that either immortal or mortal have, in terms of souls, in terms of soul body thing, and you connect to them, and you try to do what you can to listen to what it is that they want to bring as their message. And once you respect that, you will be able to bring your message, your truth, even if you're walking through the traffic of the most modern of cities early by now. You will find that silence, and you will find that wisdom, and you will find that although these people look like zombies, and they are, you're not. And even better, you get to have more privacy, and you get to have more peace, and you get to have more of you. And through you, you can understand everything already, as the universe is already in you. And it doesn't mean that you're going to masturbate, or it doesn't mean that you're going to focus on your hands and your feet. Just focus on your being, in terms of you being as Christ showed, being the transfigured version of yourself, which we will all be, and we can all start being right now by perfecting ourselves through completing the magnus opus, or great work of alchemy, which could take anywhere from 250 to even 2,000 years, but an average of at least 650 years, something like that. 651 would be an average. So as soon as you start this work and complete it to your own taste, in following reincarnations, then you decide to see. And once you see, you don't become like God, but you realize you are like one, which is something that Jesus didn't tell Eve, just because Jesus wasn't born again. So I think we got it, we nailed it. And unleash your subconscious today, start doing it at least. And once you detach from all these impurities, you become that very special person that your mother really liked, and then your uncle loves. And then especially important would be to ask your mom for permission on anything that you want to do, but refuse to ask your spiritual mother, whether Lilith or Mary, what's the best decision to make. And especially it would be a good idea to perhaps renounce on everything that you truly desire, because you think that something is a sin. And not that you don't like sin, because you've never been to hell before, but you now understood perfectly what these things spiritual are about. And that's where I want to leave you, with the greatest modesty. So I hope that you enjoyed my class, and I hope that you will come back online in this virtual temple, and almost a virtual, in quotes, coven, or covenant. So thank you for believing in me and trusting in me. Please add me on Facebook. My name is Rocco, Rocco, and my last name is Massarelli, Massarelli. And I've got the same face that you see right now on it. And once you add me, I dubbed myself, I gave myself the nickname of Rocco Angel. And again, like in the movie Trainspotting, you should watch it. It's not only about wasting. Your life cannot be wasted in just the way that they think it is. Which doesn't necessarily lead to waste, because I've taken drugs in my past and I'm totally sober. But drugs are even fragrances or smells or scents that are within incense that is even burned in the same Catholic church that you attended today, and that's considered in chemistry a drug. So, and that drug serves you to elevate your frequency onto a frequency that wasn't known before. So possibly those guys did train spotting, but the normal society that they had first was life spotting. And you know what? It's, if you know how to get out of it, it's much better to take that pill or that medicine or that whatever, if you can master the concept of sin, rather than living the life that you deem Christ wanting you to live, which is a life of sacrifice, intended of a non-life. And the non-life isn't always what we as males or females seek. The human animal, as someone defined us, is much higher than misinterpreting the words of God, which wants us to be mm, the best every time, and that he doesn't consider the absolute best, because even angels are constantly being praised, depending on that day. But they're constantly being not elevated, but they're being praised and they're being even applauded, if you will, or they're being given extra gifts or extra glory, more accessories perhaps, and they become more trendy, they become more lightful, they become more not purer, because that's not possible, they become more potent, and they make the light of God more their own, in a way that's lawful, unlike the fallen angels. So the choice is yours, and again, I wish you a very pleasant day, and may you have all the energy that you deserve, and may you be even interested in energy accumulating techniques such as Reiki. So I'll at least try to become a Reiki level 1 practitioner, so that if you conduct a ceremony or cast a spell, you know how to charge your candles, not necessarily using your own energy, which can be fatiguing, but you use the energy that's of the universe. And with initiating yourself through Reiki helps you to harness this energy that's right in front of you already better. Thank you, and ciao.